So welcome. So I have the pleasure and honor today to be having a conversation with my mother. So that sounds normal because everyone talks to their mother. Those of us who still have mothers around, we some less than others, some more than others. But this is a conversation specifically about a book my mother wrote. Um, a few years ago, she told us, there's five of us, five of her kids. She told us that she's going to go around and interview elderly Black people around this country, which, my mother's always been really interested in our people. And she's like the historian of the family. She will show up to the family reunion with the family tree and make sure everyone's on that tree and make sure they're in the right place. And she'll find historic pictures of people so they don't get lost, because our people sometimes tend to get lost in our history of what's happened here. A lot of people don't know where they go back to. A lot of us don't know our home. A lot of us were separated due to issues that we know about that happened in our country. So then after she did this, she talked to all these people, all these fascinating people, some of them artists, some of them poets, some of them doctors. And she said, I'm going to make a book of this. And that book is called The Generation Found, Precious Pearls of Wisdom. And it is a compilation of 40 interviews of elderly Black people between the ages of 80 and 108. That's thousands of years of knowledge, of information, of stories. Like that's over 3,000 years. That's wild, almost 4,000. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my mother, who raised me, I think pretty well, Roohee Marshall. Welcome.
Thank you, son. Thank you for taking the time and having me with this conversation. Thank you.
Of course, of course. So can you show that? So that's an image of the book in the background. Um,
Yes, A Generation Found, Precious Pearls of Wisdom. That's the title of the book. And we have Mr. Knowles on the cover of the book. He's 100 years old. Yes.
right. So tell me how you began this journey. What was the first inkling that this is something I needed to do? Is it? Because I know you tell a story of a woman in Detroit you saw, who was outside mowing her lawn, and you became well interested. Can you tell me about that and
Well,
how that
actually,
started?
it didn't really start right there. It started with the fact that I began to, at this point in my life, I began to to think about the people in my life who were no longer there, and the elders, the family members in my life who are no longer there, who has helped to inspire me, encourage me, and help to give me the strength that I need in order to survive in this world today. Okay, and I began to think that a lot of them are gone and they're leaving, and I begin to really miss that deep in my heart, deep in my spirit. And I began to contemplate on that for days. And as I was contemplating on that, I began to think, well, there must be other elders throughout the world, throughout this country and other places in the world that were able to pass that legacy down to their families as well. Okay, whatever they had experienced. And I was driving down the street one day, and as I was driving, I saw this elderly lady, Miss Ionia Woods. She was standing in front of her immaculately kept house. It was white with purple lavender shutters, and she had a lavender smock on. And I looked to my right. I was in Inkster, Michigan, visiting my friend, going my way to visit my friend. And I looked to my right, and she was standing there in front of her lawnmower. And I pulled over and I said, ma'am, is it possible for me to talk to you for a while? I feel like there's something that I am supposed to learn from you today? Something I need, something my spirit needs inside?" And she said, "Yeah, honey." She said, "Yeah, darling. Come on, we can talk about it." So um, I was, everything just fell into place, and I was then the journey began. The journey began.
So that's a beautiful story. And I can imagine, like, because your roots are so deep in the South, where we spent a lot of time in Natchez, Mississippi, where you're from, when we were
Yes.
children, and that was a big part of it. It's the elders. You go down these streets with the red clay sand, and you see these elders look on their porch, and everyone knows each other, and everyone is sort of pitching in to the growth and the building of the youth. And I always felt that, and I always honored and admired that kind of love, within a community where everyone is there for each other. Um, can you talk a little bit about growing up in Natchez, and how that impacted your perspective and your want to do a book like this?
Yes, Natchez, Mississippi. Okay, that is where I am from. Natchez, by way of Africa.
Right, because Natchez is what, the second
Yeah,
slave port, right, in the United
yeah.
States,
New Orleans,
right?
I think, being the first, and Natchez being the second. Actually, there's a place called the Fork of the Road in
Mm.
Natchez, Mississippi, where the slave trade took place. So there's
And
a
there's
lot of
still
history.
chains and stuff down there that
Oh yeah,
that we
yeah,
went to see at
yes.
family. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, no problem. So Natchez is a place I call the village, our village. And in our village, there were many, many great people. There were many people who had a major impact on all of our lives. The way that they taught us, the way that they loved us, the way that they expected the best from us, the way that they lived their own lives, and we became who we are because of the sacrifices that they made.
Mm.
And we lived in a community where the houses were close together. And in the morning, I can remember in the back of my mind, I can remember where the sisters, I had aunts, there were 13 of them. And I personally lost my mother when I was 9 and she was 29. But the community came together and the extended family was there to help to heal my wounds and to help to um, just to take, not, no one can take your mother's place, but to give you everything that they could possibly give you in order for you to succeed and to grow into who I am today. So we had my grandfather. My grandfather was at the head of the table. Okay, my grandfather pastored 4 churches in Natchez, Mississippi, and throughout Mississippi, in Natchez and 3 other smaller cities in Mississippi. And I've said this before, his word was the law. Okay, my grandfather, whatever he said, the households just kind of like at that time just fell in place because they knew that he was a very righteous man and he was a community man, and he extended his love to the rest of the community, not just our family. He was very concerned about us being a part of that as his children, as his grandchildren, as his great grandchildren. He made sure that we understood the importance of our culture in the way that we lived, in the way that we lived, in the way that the men and the women fulfilled their roles. Okay, so that is basically what brought me to this point, and it
So
brought me to.
no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there were
That's
two
okay.
things I heard in there that really, like, kind of represent this book. When you spoke about your mother, my grandmother, who I had never had a chance to meet, but you always speak so highly of her. And I've seen pictures of her, and I cherish her so much, even though I've never had a chance to meet her, and I know how much she meant to you. Um, but
Spirit.
you say, yeah, absolutely, spirit lives. But you say between him passing things down and the community healing your wounds after that loss, that kind of loss, like, I feel like you've taken those things and have infused them into this, within this book, because you are passing things down to people forever to come. And people who may have wounds, by listening to some of these stories and reading some of their journeys, this book is healing. And that's one of the things I got from it myself, because yeah.
Well, the book is a interview, and it's the interview of 40 elders from 80 to 108.
Yeah.
It's an intimate, organic interview where I was able to go into their homes, their sacred space, and share their special time, okay, with them, and talk about their lives, their accomplishments, some of their accomplishments, their successes, their family, questions about raising a family, about love, about just many different aspects of life. Okay, so to have that, actually, it meant everything, because that's what I grew up with,
Right.
and that's what a lot of African Americans grow up with.
Right.
The story. Right.
Right.
We're known to capture the story. We're known for the story. Well, did you hear what Aunt Martha said?
Yeah.
Did you hear what Aunt Beatrice said? Did you hear that granddaddy? So this is culture. This is tradition in Africa. Okay, there were African tales where everybody stood around. So we were able to set around the circle of love, and we're able to carry it. That's where we gained our strength from. Okay,
right.
So we were able to maintain and preserve that within our culture, within our tradition.
Right.
Even when we came to this country, we were able to keep that.
Yeah.
So this is a way, in this book, in A Generation Found, Precious Pearls of Wisdom, I was able to capture that, capture the voices that echo throughout the years,
Right.
And even today, okay, the voice that says, okay, you need to get up.
Right.
You need to do what you're destined to do. You need to find out. If you don't know your purpose, you need to figure it out today. Okay. I remember my Aunt Pearl, and I remember, I have 5 children. I'm blessed to have 5 children. They have husbands and wives and a wonderful family. Okay. But when I was raising my children, I remember one day particularly when I called my aunt on the phone, and I was like, what, can you just help me a little bit today? Okay. And she said, honey, I said, how were you feeling? I think I had turned 50 years old. And I said, so where were you at 50? Oh, she said, oh, honey, I was just getting started. Okay.
Speaking of memorable quotes and ideas, can you name a few from the book that from a few of the people that you've interviewed that people will get a chance to read and to have with them forever?
Yes. I can remember when I talked to Miss Carol Hall, and I asked her, what makes you smile? And she says, justice.
Mm.
What's that? Just justice. Okay?
That's deep. That's deep right now, especially. Goodness. Yeah. And you've been fighting for justice for a long time.
Mr. Larry Kennan, who's a lawyer, who's a political civil rights lawyer, activist. Okay. I can remember him asking what's the most important thing in his life. And he tells me freedom. Freedom. Okay. Because that's the life that he lived.
So those are 2 different people. One says justice, one says freedom.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I can remember my father, Elijah Lewis, asking him questions. And I can remember him saying, you don't overextend yourself in life. You need to gradually to take your place. I can remember him saying, if you can't take it, you can't make it.
That's good. If you can't take it, you can't make it.
Yeah. And sitting with Miss Vinnie Burrows, who up until I think even in March she's a Broadway actress.
Wow.
Queen. Miss
Wow.
Viney Burrows. And,
Because I know that Miss Emmy Kemp, she was playing a piano
um,
like she was on Broadway herself. We have a
well,
video of that on the face on our social media, on your social media, and on the website if you want to see what we're talking about. But she was playing just like she was she was on Broadway herself, or at some jazz club somewhere.
absolutely. Yes. And
So
one more, I want to talk to
okay,
you, Dr. Melissa Freeman.
okay,
I talked to her during the when the coronavirus had just came out, and I was speaking to her because I had tried to do follow up with different elders and just kind of see how they're doing, something I can do,
right,
just to see where they were at. And I can remember just the sadness in her voice,
right.
because I can remember she is a doctor. She's a practicing doctor. She works with the opioid crisis today.
Opioid crisis. Yeah,
Yes. Uh-huh. And
right,
I can remember just her saying that, there's a time in a season for everything. There's a time to be strong and there's a time to be weak, and there's a time to live and there's a time to die. And by her caring for so many people, it just reminded me of all these years, just the sacrifices that she and a lot of our elders have made,
right.
just so that
So that
just
we could go on.
yes, so that we could
I mean,
survive.
yeah,
Uh,
survive, because that's real. Like that's because I'm thinking about, and we all know what's been happening in our country and around this world in the last few months, this year. I mean, 2020 has been crazy, but specifically as you speak about justice and freedom, as the world has risen up and has marched and screamed at the top of their lungs that we want justice, we want equality. Um, what is what does that mean to you in terms of like speaking to people who have lived maybe 100 years? Like, can you imagine someone's born in 1920 or 1925 to live all of these years and go through all of these wars, and may have fought in wars and come back home to be discriminated against? And what does that mean to you, someone who's from Natchez, who went to school there, like what who dealt with the KKK there? Like, what is
well, I feel like it's something that is not new. It's not new for me.
that's
Okay.
good to that, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's not new for me, but it is something that is very different, because a lot of the sacrifices that our elders and ancestors made, we thought that, we would not be confronted with what we are confronted with today, even though that the systemic racism has never left. Okay.
right,
But we are all more aware of it because the veil has been completely lifted. Okay.
right,
So it just makes, I mean, when I look at them and when I talk to them, I mean, it's such it helped me to understand how important it is to define and redefine your purpose in life.
right,
Okay. And when you look at the world, when you look at the global view, okay, then it's very important to know to question yourself and to say, what is
mm,
my purpose?
right,
Okay. What is it that I can do? Okay.
right,
So it helped me to gain strength from listening to them. It helped me to know that, oh, there is something that I can do.
right,
Okay. I may not know what it is at that moment, but I know that there is something that I can do and something that I am called upon to do.
right,
It is my responsibility to do, no matter how old you are or how young. We all have a responsibility. So
right.
it taught me that sense of a greater sense of responsibility. I have always felt a sense of responsibility to my people,
So as part of that
righteousness,
responsibility,
and the world.
right? So as part of that responsibility, because I know you had mentioned when we spoke before about this, something about because this is, I mean, this is Black history, right? Like all these people, they are from all these facets of life. And
Yeah.
you mentioned to me before how you didn't they didn't teach you Black history
No,
in school. So is that somewhat of a sense of responsibility? Like you weren't taught it, and it's in a place that is so relevant to our history. They didn't even teach it to you then. So this is you taking upon yourself to say like, look, this ain't no textbook, but these are actually historical figures in our country that are telling you stories and advice about you know, because they kept going.
Yeah, I mean, it is our history. Okay, it's like who we are. I mean, everyday people the sung and the unsung. Okay, this is where, in a world, you know, of distraction and discontent, okay, and confusion, this is where this is the source.
Mm,
Okay, this is where we need to go in order to become centered. Okay, in order to find out how do we deal with this? How did
right.
they deal with it? Okay, and land on their feet
Right.
and
Because they're still
not
going.
only dealing with it, not only dealing with the
Right.
people I did not meet one elder who did not have a smile,
Mm,
who did not have a sense of conviction for what they believed in, okay, and who I was just humbled by it. There was
mm,
a line that I wrote in the book. It said, the glance from the stillness in their eyes, okay?
mm,
And they all had that same familiar look, you know, that they had so much knowledge and so much wisdom that just poured out from inside of them through their eyes, you know, through their aura, the way that they understood even before I said anything.
right.
So that was for me very enriching. Okay, it was for me very fulfilling. You know, it was sense of, and when I talked to one of the elders, I had the opportunity to talk to a few of them, you know, since the book has been out. And
So the book is not out yet.
oh yeah,
It's on pre-order,
yeah, it's
but you've sent the books to the people who are
oh
in
absolutely,
the book, right? Right. Just so we're
absolutely,
clear, you can buy the book on
yeah,
pre-order and you will have it within weeks. But like, it would be amazing if you were to go to
Roohee,
rooheemarshall.com,
mm-hmm.
rooheemarshall.com, ROOHEE Marshall.com, and pick up a book. It'll be great for you, your family, and support our mother here. So shameless plug.
Yes, I remember my granddaughter and speaking to her, and when she saw the book for the first time, she says, "Oh, Nana, you did this. You got in touch with all these old people," and she said, "Oh, this is great because now when I don't know what to do, I can go and I can find out what it is I'm supposed to do."
Yep.
12 years old. That wasn't very important to me.
She got it.
That is what I was going for. One of the things.
Got it. She got it.
She got it.
She got it. Because I mean, if you clearly know they clearly know what to do if they're still standing after 100 years being
Oh
in
my,
this country after what they've been through, and they're still standing, they're still smiling, and they're still regal. Um, that's incredible. That's incredible. So what would you like to? We're gonna wrap this up. So what would you like your final words to be to anyone that's watching this? Or again, we encourage you to go and pick up this book. It's really profound to see all these people and what they have to say. And please show it one more time. Yeah.
yeah, this is a generation found, precious pearls of wisdom. And we could be reached at Roohee Marshall, ROOHEE Marshall.com. And we're also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And we would love for you to join us
Yeah.
and come with us along with us on this journey, which has been an incredible journey. And I just have had a lot of support from my friends and family, and even people that I'm meeting for the first time. And it gives everyone an opportunity to stop and treasure the elders that are in your family or that you may know in the community, because we would not be where we are without them,
Mm,
without the sacrifices, without the vision
right.
that they had for us, and it's important that we do our part. It's important that we to do our part to honor them and to honor our families and keep the memory, keep the stories going, to
Yeah.
keep them going, because during the time of slavery and during the time of when we were in Africa, and even now today this spirit lives in all of us,
Mm.
okay? And our experience has been, like I said, we've been on the battlefield for a very long time,
Yeah.
okay? But we have the tools. This is a way for us to understand it better, to understand our culture better, to know how we can make a difference, you
Yeah.
know. And on those days when we feel that because there have been days that when we feel like I have felt, you know, that I couldn't make the next step, okay. And on that day, I can remember calling my Aunt Martha. I'm calling my Aunt Dorothy and asking her, Aunt Dorothy, can you please sing this song to me? We come a mighty long ways. And then after she sang it,
Can
I
can you
felt,
can you sing that?
what?
I mean, can you sing the song? Just like just like 30 seconds of it.
Qasim.
Just, I mean, ma, please. It's a mother-son interview. Like this, just like 30 seconds of it.
Oh boy. You mean
I'll
like I used
I'll
to sing?
join. Yeah, like when you used to sing around the house with us, and
Oh,
I'll sing with. I'll sing if I can pick it up. If I know it, then I'll sing some with you. But just, can you?
okay. You really okay. Oh Lord, you sure been good to me. I was just sitting here thinking about it, looking back over my life, and you sure have been good to me. I could have been dead, sleeping in my grave, but Lord, you made me. You made my enemies behave. Lord, you brought me, yes, from a mighty long way.
Mm, goodness, that was that just like I think you recorded it once, right? And you showed it to us with Aunt Dorothy, right? I think I remember seeing that.
Well, I remember.
That's beautiful. Like, thank you for doing that. But that you even kind of like manifested that energy of her. I feel like it was something there that I appreciate you doing that. And look, you said without them we wouldn't be here. Without you, this book wouldn't be here. Um, so I just wanted to acknowledge you for the strength it took, the bravery it took to travel around this country and to connect with all these people and to compile these stories and to make it into such a beautiful and magical display of art, because it is art. It's and it's going to live on, and their stories are going to live on, and their stories are going to impact and help a lot of people, and they already have with me. So I wanted to thank you for your contribution to this world, because that's what it is. It is a major contribution to this world, and I'm honored to be your son.
Oh wow. Well, I am so grateful to be here with you today, and I'm so very proud of you.
Oh,
So very proud of you. Okay, and the fact that you not only talk about things, that you actually um, try to make a difference. Your life matches your words, and that is what I've always, strive uh, to teach my children. And I'm just thankful that you took out time, to have this interview with me. I'm proud of all of my children.
of course.
Yes, and all that they do and who they are. The most thing I'm proud of all of them is that they care. They care about what happens, and they try to make a difference in what happens. All right. Yes.
Well, we learned from you. So, all right, I'll check out the website on this video right here, and join the journey of this book.
Okay.
There will be posts and videos and stuff up of the folks. So join on social media and get you a copy. But
Okay. And once again,
yes,
it's a generation found, a generation found, precious pearls of wisdom.
yeah,
Okay, and Roohee, Roohee Marshall.com.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for taking time out
Yeah,
and this.
thank you. Thank you for
Thank you
being
so
here.
much. Could not be here without you.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
All right. Thank you,
Talk
son.
soon. Peace, love.